Well, somebody once told me they will be dancing in the streets of Miami, and that is exactly what we plan on doing here tonight via the Boston contingency as we welcome you in here to the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk. Game one, guys, Eastern Conference Finals tonight. The Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. Don't want to go the way of the Lakers and how that turned out last night. So we have no intention of doing that. Just there's Skee Prophet in the house. He knows all about you don't want to be like them Lakers. You know that, Skee. Jay Money in the house here. Ronald Kabang ready to go. I feel like Jay and Kabang are going to be absolute Switzerland to you and I here, Skee Prophet. We got, well, listen, 2 series left. We got West Coast. We got East Coast. 1-0 Denver. Let me start there with you, Skee, and then, of course, tell us what you got rolling here tonight. Thought the over might be in play last night. Didn't realize it was going to be that ridiculously over. What did you take away from that game last night?
I cashed 2 tickets on that game. I had the first half over 114, and I had the Nuggets minus 5.5. So one time that CLV did save me. Didn't have to worry about getting hooked or anything of that nature. But late game, and the made a comeback. But I think you'll see it, and goes on, and the Lakers definitely still have a chance to win. What I have won at WagerTalk, I have a bet available for tonight. I've won 11 straight, and 100. But if you go back a little further, maybe the last 55 or 56 days, I'm up about today.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not you, Skee. I think I wasn't sure if you were muting yourself just to mess with us there, but your mic was cutting in and out there. I thought he was like dropping F-bombs all over, and he kept just muting himself over there. But you can just refresh it, Skee. You'll be back in there. Jay Money, what is going on here, my man? Talk to me about your thoughts last night on what you saw with Denver and the Lakers. We're not going to get high-scoring games like this all the time, are we?
Yeah, everything's going good with me. Love watching game one. The Nuggets obviously got up 21 before they kind of fell asleep at the wheel there. I do think the Lakers kind of figured some defensively things out in the second half. Obviously putting Hachimura on Jokic, it worked pretty well there. And I still think they have some players that they've yet to use as well. So still feeling good about the Lakers with my guy Skee.
All right, still back in the Lakers there. Nothing wrong there. Big game here tonight. Mr. Kabang, you have been all over it all NBA playoff long here, man. Do you got anything rolling here tonight up at WagerTalk.com? And what'd you think about last night's game?
Yeah, over at WagerTalk, I do have one play up for tonight. I had the Nuggets team total over in the first half yesterday. That one hit. Obviously, like what Jay said, the Lakers figured out something in that fourth quarter there with Rui guarding Jokic. But I think just with that from that and how that game closed out, I don't see this being a true zigzag type of series, just because now we know now that the Nuggets do have to make some adjustments after that game, even though they did win by 6 points. That fourth quarter was a little bit scary, so they're gonna have to make some adjustments themselves. So we'll see what happens in game 2.
Yeah, listen, should be interesting across the board. We got something going here, and it starts tonight, though, game one in Boston. So let's take a look here as the Miami Heat getting 8 now. This was up to 8.5. So we've got the Celtics at home coming off of that game 7, 212, as that total is creeped up. It was 210.5. Now we're getting 211, 211.5, now up to 212 here. So, Jay, kick us off here, man. What are you thinking about the Miami Heat's chances of at least maybe possibly stealing game one?
Yeah, this is going to be their best chance, in my opinion. They have the rest advantage. They have the better coach as well, more time to prepare. So I definitely think the Heat +8 are live to win this game outright. I just always take the points. If no matter, even if I think they're going to win, I always take the points as insurance. But if they're going to steal a game on the road, this is definitely their best chance. Celtics obviously coming off a 7-game series, only 2 days of rest. Kind of hear Al Horford telling us that they're not so locked in right now. He kind of had to stop practice and tell guys that they need to tighten things up. That's not what I want to hear, because that means that they were kind of a little fat and happy, a little fat and sassy, as our guy Marco would say, from that Game 7 win over the Sixers and Elwin. I mean, they basically just come off 2 Game 7s. When you go down 3-2 and you have to go to Philly in a must-win spot, that's a Game 7. So they coming off 2 Game 7s here, only 2 days of rest. Rookie head coach sometimes seems like a deer in the headlights. I think if the Heat are going to steal a game in Boston, this is their best chance. I'll take them tonight, +8.
Listen, but the history tells us here, Skee, and I think we got Skee back over there, man. Give us, I think the mic is back and rolling, but tell me here, Skee, about tonight, the Miami. Yep, you good? Tell me about this Miami Heat opportunity here tonight, maybe to stay. They have in other series, haven't they? Stole Game 1. What about the chances tonight?
Well, I think it's a Heat spot for sure, just because what the Celtics have had to do to get here. They had to win the previous 2 games, a Game 7 being included. Now come back and get ready for a Game 1 off minimal rest compared to what the Heat have. I think the rest advantage is 4 for Miami, 2 for the Celtics. So it's a little bit of a tough ask, especially for a first-year head coach in Missoula who has been struggling, in my opinion, if you ask me how he's been doing in these playoffs. So that going up against a seasoned vet, the best coach left in the playoffs, Eric Spoelstra, the Heat have 4 days rest before this game. They got the player that I trust the most in this game, and Jimmy Butler. I could only look towards the Heat in this one. I agree with Jay. You could play it safe and take the money line. Or take the points. But I also think, I can't help but think, like, the Celtics aren't going to be that interested in playing defense tonight. I think this is a game that, and it's tough when they're at home, but almost like a game that they punt. And Miami kind of does whatever they want. I think a team total of 101.5 is a little bit low. I would expect. We talked to Rob Vino. I talked to Rob Vino, 3 days out the week, and he's on this show as well. Whenever he talks about Miami, and he's been saying this for the past few months, like Spoelstra figured out that they're not as good of a defensive team as they were in previous years, and to make up for that, they got to shoot more threes, they got to score more points, and that's what we've seen from Miami down the stretch of the NBA season. So I do think the over is live for the full game, but I probably prefer Miami team total.
All right, looking at the team total, possible over. It's certainly been creeping that way. You capper here, Ronald Kabang. It's certainly, I saw 210.5 at about 6 o'clock this morning, and here we go, 212 here. Kind of makes sense, right? These Game 1s. Are the Celtics really going to lay it all out on the line defensively here in this matchup in Game 1? What do you think we're getting tonight?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with both Skee and Jay here. We can look at numbers and trends and everything, and it kind of points all in the same direction. And we know Spo is such a great coach, but specifically in Game 1s within the conference, since 2019, the Heat in Game 1s are 8-1 straight up, 9-0 against the spread. That includes 2 instances against the Celtics, both in one in 2019, and then I think last year was the other one. Both times in Game 1, the Heat got it done as dogs, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They went over their team total as well, so that kind of points towards what Skee was mentioning with the Heat team total over. But a couple of things to mention as well is since 2018, in Game 1 of a series, after a team had to win Game 6 and 7 in the previous series, so they were basically down 2-3 and ended up winning the series. Those teams in Game 1, the following series, 0-7 straight up, 1-6 against the spread, and really everything kind of pointing towards the Heat here. Overall, I think the Celtics do have the depth, they have the versatility to probably go deep in this series. But I think from a coaching aspect, going from one series to another, I think Miami got that easily as far as having the advantage there. So I think Miami's going to be more prepared. They're going to be ready to go in Game 1. I think they get it done. I'm not sure if they're going to win outright, but I definitely can see them covering the 8 points.
Yeah, well, it's a big number. That too was up there, right? 8.5 is what we saw now. It's starting to come back a little bit here to the 8 number. The over, by the way, I think since 2003 in game 1 in a series in the conference finals here, obviously with a team coming off of game 7. Home team, if that home team's coming off of game 7, the over 17-7, 71% makes total sense too. With that trend there that, hey, we're going to get a lot of threes here, Jay. It feels like the winner of this series is the one who goes pulled from the perimeter the least, is what it feels like. I don't know how big a role Robert Williams is going to have, certainly not from a scoring. There's no Embiid to stop here. Everything Miami does is probably going to be from the perimeter. So we might get a ton of points in some of these games.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Both teams like to shoot threes, and both teams live and die by the three as well. We've seen it with the Celtics all year. When they're making their threes, they can literally blow any team out by 20 points. It's just when they're missing them, that's when they look so bad because they're going to continue to take them, at least on the Heat side. Now, I'll tell you this, the Celtics do have a path to success because Bam Adebayo is not the biggest center, and I'm definitely not trusting Kevin Love on the defensive end. So I do think if the Celtics, if there's one team that's not making their threes, they do have a path to success, whereas the Heat, it's going to be kind of tough to drive, at least while Robert Williams is out there. I do think Robert Williams III is a under type of player because he's not going to give you much offense other than lob dunks, but he's really going to defend the paint and protect the rim well. But when he goes out, yeah, I'm driving towards the paint on Al Horford all day long. So it's really one of those, whenever Robert Williams goes out of the game, that's when I like to look for more easy points for the Heat at the basket, but they can make threes as well. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler even been working on his three. Still got Lowry, Duncan Robinson as well coming off the bench. So both of these teams will live and die by the three. It's basically on which team is making them on which night.
So, Skee, you had mentioned this was an absolute grind last year, but is it fair to say that the defenses for both of these teams were better last year than what they are coming into this particular game? And I say it because the over hit in 4 of the 7 games last year, and they were better defensive teams last year.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, I would expect Miami to try to go, play small ball and try to maybe run Robert Williams off the court. If they do that, it'll be up to Boston to see if they match the small ball. And at that point, you probably get a lot more pace. Like Jay said, they're going to shoot a lot of threes. And I would expect this one to be more of an over series, at least to start. So I can only look that way in game 1.
Yeah, and it's heading that way. And Ronald, quick, we'll get to what everyone likes here. Give us a best bet, a prop, something going on. But let me ask you, man, give me somebody here that may not be on the court to start, but it's going to play a big role in this game for either the Celtics or the Heat in this series. Is it Brogdon? Is it Kyle Lowry? I can't even believe I'm saying that. Who is the one guy you're looking to be a difference maker?
I mean, I think we know who it's going to be for the most part on the Celtics side. Their role players are really strong, especially when they're at home. But I think in Miami, I think it is who you said. I think it is Lowry because I don't think there's a lot of expectations coming from him, especially after him moving down to the second unit there. But I think it's going to be key to Miami's success is him being able to play defense on guys like Brogdon and things like that, and be able to be that leader in the second unit. Because I think both of these teams, I think they've been playing a little bit better offense than we were expecting, especially in the playoffs against defensive minded teams and slow paced teams too. But they've been successful. So I think defense is always a key for Spo led teams. And for him to be in the second unit to lead that second unit defensively is going to be super important. So like you said, it's hard to say. Kyle Lowry is sort of that X factor, but I think leadership for sure is going to be important for them.
He like resurrected himself, Jay, coming off the bench, that second team, man, playing 20-25 minutes, and those guys are still no match for him. It's kind of crazy. I was ready to stick a fork in him all year. I'm like, what the? You get him off the damn court. But as it turns out, perfect for the way Spoelstra's using him right now in this rotation.
Yeah, no, that's a fact there. I can't wait to see what Lowry does off the bench. I definitely think he's one of their X factors. Personally, I feel like the X factor is Caleb Martin. He's their best defender. He can make some threes, he can score some buckets,
Good
but
point.
this is one all about who's going to stop Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. These are two superstars in the league. They can coexist on the same team. That's why they're in back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. But in my opinion, the most important player is Caleb Martin, and I definitely think that there's going to come a point in time where he has to be in the starting five.
Who is it, Skee? Who's the leading scorer tonight? Is it Jay? Is it Bam? Is it Jimmy? Is it Tatum? Who do you think is the leading scorer tonight in this game?
Leading scorer? That's tough. I'll just go with Jimmy Butler because I'm leaning more towards that side. But who's the X factor in the series? Eric Spoelstra. I mean, talent-wise, individual talent, Jason Tatum,
thinking outside the box.
Jaylen Brown, like they got all the talent. Miami's here for a reason. I think that's the reason why. So he'll show them.
So true, man. Absolutely true. It'll be interesting, although it did take him, 6.5 games to figure out, Mazul, that maybe we should roll out Horford and Williams at the same time and see how that rolls out. Did take him a little while, but he got there, though. So kudos there to the Celtics. But now it's a moment of truth here, guys. Here's what we got. Game one. The Miami Heat have done a great job in game ones against two teams they weren't supposed to beat. Can they make it 3 now here? And Ronald Kabang, we'll start with you, man. Hit me up here. 60 seconds on the clock. Point us in the right direction about a play here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to look towards the Heat team total over 101.5. The Heat 9-4 on their team total over so far in the playoffs. But if you look specifically on the road, 5-0-1 on their team total. They've only stayed under this 101.5 just once. It was that closeout game versus the Knicks. But we know in those closeout games, especially game 6 or game 7, those typically are pretty low scoring. From the Celtics perspective, they are in a similar situation that we saw in game 1 of the series against Philly, their home favorite. They also got the rest advantage, and Celtics ended up losing that game outright, also allowing the Sixers to go over their team total by about 16 points. I'm not sure, if I want to take the Heat to win outright. I do think they do cover, but I'm more confident in that team total over 101.5. That would be my best bet for today's show.
All right, there you go. Love it. Now, you don't get me back in the Heat. You don't get buzzed. Come on now. Leave him alone. Jay Money, talk to me, my man. I know you go, they're going to be dancing in the streets tonight. So you tell me what city you're going to be dancing in the streets here tonight.
Well, I don't know if they'll win straight up, but I will take the Heat +8 for the show. We did talk about this earlier on the show. We talk about free NBA picks every single day, Monday through Saturday, over on the channel NBA Talk with Jay on YouTube. We had our guy Skee on today talking about this same game. We're leaning towards the Heat, leaning towards the over here. We think we'll see a little bit less defensive effort from the Boston Celtics in this one tonight. So you're going to give me 8 points with the team that I think can come out here and still win game with the better coach as well, more rest advantage. I'll take the 8 points all day and night with the Miami Heat tonight. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they got the outright win, but I always take the points for insurance. So let's see if the Heat can be dancing in the streets of Miami tonight.
Love it. And listen, it just feels like you gotta be sprinkled, Skee, right? If you're going to take them points, you better be sprinkling just a little something on that ML here, my man. What are you thinking, Skee? Is it simply over and 8 points here for tonight, or you got something exotic for us?
We'll see. You can tell me if it's exotic or not. But I just think I'm gonna go with the Heat. The best price I saw for the series was +425, and just to be transparent, I bet it last series I had them to win the conference +450. But I just feel like they have the better coach. They have the player I trust the most, Jimmy Butler. They're more rested versus a team with a lot of wear and tear so far. They played 11 games compared to the Celtics with 13, and they're just being disrespected with this big price that they're giving. With all these things considered. So Heat +425. I think they're very live to what Jay said about them in this game 1. They have the rest advantage. Eric Spoelstra the last 6 years with 3+ days rest. He's 23-6-1 against the spread, 22-8 straight up, I think it's a Heat spot for sure tonight, and the price will not be there tomorrow. So Heat to win the series plus 425.
All right, there it is. You got it. All right, Lewis is spot on here. He said basically, based on these best bets, I'm going to have this panel on for the rest of the series here. And I can't say you're wrong, Lewis. These are the three of the smartest dudes I know. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Let's just recap it to make sure I didn't miss anything. Here we go. All right, Skee looking at Miami to win the series at plus 425. Jay Money, he knows they're dancing in the streets of Miami tonight, but he'll take the 8. He ain't got no problem with that. And our good friend Ronald Kabang, hell, team total over 101.5. And Lewis, you know what this means. Celtics are going to win by 60. Of course it does, because we're all on the same damn page here. But in all honesty, guys, best bets are available. Ronald Kabang's page at WagerTalk, Skee's page at WagerTalk. Make sure you are following Jay Money. Make sure you're checking out, subscribe to his YouTube channel there. NBA Talk with Jay Money. You get to see all the guys, some of the sharpest guys talking NBA all week long, guys, over on his page and channel here on YouTube. So make sure you check it out. Pick Zombies, Big Dog in the house here. Seems to be a lot of consensus with the points here tonight and the over. We'll see if that comes through. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow. We got another game out west in Denver with the Lakers and the Nuggets. We'll break that down for you. But until then, on behalf of, I'm telling you, three of the smartest dudes I know, man. I mean, Skee Profit, Jay Money, Ronald Kabang. God held their ass. They come back and back Boston here in a couple of days. They'll never see him again. Guys, best of luck with all your plays tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good luck.